The Barrett 50 caliber rifle could tear through steel at 2 miles. Commander Rick Morrison had seen it destroy buildings, vehicles, lives, but he'd never seen a cleaning lady handle it like a lover's hand. When Madison Parker looked up from that weapon, her fingers moving with surgical grace most operators would kill for, Morrison felt something he hadn't felt in 20 years of combat genuine fear, because the woman kneeling in coveralls wasn't who she appeared to be, and what happened next would expose a ghost the government swore was dead. Before we dive into Madison's story, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, because this journey gets darker than you can imagine. And drop a comment telling me what city you're watching from. I want to see how far this truth travels. Morrison's coffee hit the floor. The woman had her hands inside the Barrett. "Get your hands off that weapon!" 50 SEALs spun around. Conversations died mid-sentence. The armory went silent except for Morrison's boots hammering concrete. The woman looked up. Brown eyes, calm as death. "Sir, the maintenance log. I don't give a damn about the log." Morrison closed the distance in 4 strides. "You're a contractor. You clean floors. You empty trash. You don't touch operational weapons." She stood slowly, 5'6" against his 6'4", had to crane her neck to meet his eyes. "I have clearance for armory maintenance. The weapon wasn't loaded. I followed safety protocols." Morrison's face went red. "You think this is about safety protocols?" Someone laughed. Then another. Within seconds, half the room was grinning. Here was the commander chewing out some maintenance girl before breakfast. But Master Chief Pat Kelly wasn't laughing. He was watching her hands. They rested at her sides, relaxed. Not fidgeting. Not ringing. Just still. Except for a slight tremor. Barely visible. The kind you only saw in operators with old injuries. Nerve damage, Kelly thought. Permanent. "Commander," the woman said, "I wasn't trying to overstep. The weapon needed attention, and you decided to play soldier." Morrison cut her off. "You think working in an armory makes you qualified? You think you can handle a Barrett because you've watched us?" "No, sir." "Then why were your hands inside my rifle?" The woman met his glare. Something flickered behind those eyes. Something Morrison couldn't read. "Because it was dirty," she said quietly. The armory exploded with laughter. "She's got balls. Cleaning lady's got jokes. Commander's gonna lose it." Morrison's jaw clenched so hard his teeth hurt. His hands curled into fists. 23 years of command. 23 years of respect. And this contractor was making him look like a fool in front of his men. Kelly stepped forward. "Commander, permission to speak." "Make it quick, Master Chief." Kelly turned to the woman. His voice dropped. Professional. Careful. "Ma'am, how long did it take you to disassemble that bolt?" She blinked. "I'm sorry. The bolt assembly, when you removed it, how long?" "I don't know. 12 seconds? Maybe 15. The laughter died. 12 seconds was operator speed. Hell, 12 seconds was competitive operator speed. Most infantrymen needed 30. The Barrett's bolt assembly wasn't simple. It was precision engineering that punished mistakes. Kelly's eyes narrowed. "You've done this before." "I've maintained weapons before, yes." "What kind?" "Different kinds." "Military." A pause. Just a heartbeat. "Some?" Morrison pushed between them. "Master Chief, what the hell are you doing?" Kelly didn't look at him. "Commander, when's the last time you saw a contractor field strip a Barrett in under 15 seconds? I don't care if she— I do." Kelly's voice went hard. "Because I've trained hundreds of operators. I've watched them fumble that exact weapon, and this woman handled it like she's been doing it since birth." Morrison looked from Kelly to the woman and back. His mind was racing, trying to process, trying to understand. "You saying she's got skills?" "I'm saying she's got experience." Kelly faced the woman again. "Ma'am, where'd you serve?" "I didn't serve," she said. "Too fast." "That's a lie." Kelly's tone wasn't cruel, just factual. "Nobody handles weapons like that without real training. So where'd you serve?" "I told you I didn't serve." "Then who trained you? That's not relevant." "The hell it isn't," Morrison's voice boomed. He pointed at the door. "You know what? I don't care. Get out. Out of this armory. Out of this building. You're done. I'll have your supervisor." "Wait." Kelly held up one hand. A smile crossed his face. Not friendly. Knowing. "Commander, if she's that confident, if she really thinks she knows weapons, let's test her." The woman's eyes widened. Just a fraction. Morrison caught it. "Test her." "Why not? She wants to play with the big boys. Let's see what she's got. 15 minutes. The SEALs pressed closer. This was getting interesting. Morrison studied the woman's face, looking for fear, uncertainty, hesitation. Nothing. "Fine," he said slowly. "What did you have in mind?" Kelly walked to the weapons rack, pulled down an M4 carbine, brought it over. "Ma'am, you familiar with this weapon?" She looked at the rifle. "Yes." "Good." Kelly set it on a table, pulled a cloth from his pocket. "We're going blindfold you. You'll field strip this weapon completely and reassemble it. We'll time you." "Master Chief, 4 minutes," Kelly continued. "That's what we require from our operators. 4 minutes blindfolded, perfect reassembly. If you can do it, we'll know you're legit." He paused. "If you can't, you walk out right now. Deal?" 50 SEALs went silent. Morrison crossed his arms, smiled. This was it. She'd either admit defeat or fail spectacularly. The woman looked at the M4, then at Kelly, then at Morrison. 4 minutes, 4 minutes. And if I do it, then we'll talk. She took a slow breath. Her hands, those trembling hands, curled into fists, opened, relaxed. "Okay." Kelly tied the cloth around her eyes, double-checked it. Complete darkness. "Whenever you're ready, ma'am." She stepped to the table. Her hands hovered over the rifle for 1 second. Then she moved. Magazine release. Charging handle. Bolt lock. Rear takedown pin. Upper and lower receivers separated. Bolt carrier group extracted. Firing pin retaining pin removed. Firing pin pulled. Cam pin rotated. Bolt separated from carrier. Her fingers never hesitated, never fumbled, never paused to think. The SEALs leaned in. Morrison's arms slowly uncrossed. She arranged the parts in a line. Perfect spacing. Perfect order. Then her hands hovered for 3 seconds. Concert pianist preparing the finale. She reassembled it. Bolt slid home. Cam pin rotated. Firing pin dropped. Carrier locked. Upper and lower receivers mated with a solid click. Charging handle slammed forward. Magazine tested. Trigger pulled. Perfect function. She removed the blindfold. Kelly stared at his watch. His face had gone pale. "Time," Morrison's voice cracked. Kelly looked up. 4 minutes, 18 seconds. "Holy shit! She beat Johnson's time. She's faster than half the damn platoon." Morrison stared. His brain was screaming. The cleaning lady, the contractor, the nobody in coveralls. She set the blindfold down. Her hands shook now, really shook, but her voice stayed steady. "Can I go back to work, Commander?" Morrison's jaw worked. His pride was a physical pain in his chest. Everything in him wanted to throw her out, make an example, reassert control. But he'd survived 23 years by recognizing real skill. And this was real. "No," he said. Her eyes flicked to his face. "Sir, you can't go back. We're not done." Morrison turned to Kelly. "Master Chief, clear the range. 500 meters, standard targets." Kelly's eyebrows shot up. "Commander, I want to see her shoot." Dead silence. Something flickered across the woman's face. Something dark. Something old. "That's not necessary," she said quietly. "The hell it isn't." Morrison stepped closer, used every inch of his height. "You proved you know weapons. Fine. But knowing and using are different things. So here's the deal: you walk to that range, pick up a rifle, and show me what you can do. Can't shoot. Admit you wasted our time and get out. Understood?" She looked up at him, those dark eyes unreadable. "And if I can shoot?" Morrison's smile wasn't nice. "Then maybe I'll believe you." 5 seconds of silence. Then she nodded. "Okay. Good." Morrison turned to his men. "Everybody out. I want witnesses." The SEALs filed out, talking excitedly. Kelly hung back. "Ma'am," he said quietly, "you don't have to do this. Commander's got wounded pride. You can walk." She looked at him. "Would you, if someone challenged you?" Kelly thought about it, smiled sadly. "No, I wouldn't." "Then neither will I." She followed them out. Morrison walked her to the firing line. 50 SEALs spread out behind them. 5 shots, Morrison said. 800 meters. Show me." She looked downrange. 800 meters. Half a mile. Wind, elevation, humidity. Everything mattered. "What weapon?" Morrison gestured to the rack. "Take your pick." She walked over, scanned the options. M4s, M16s, SR-25s, all good, all capable. Her gaze stopped. The M24 sniper weapon system, sitting in the corner. Older design. Bolt action, .308 caliber. The teams had moved on to modern platforms, but the M24 was still there. A relic. A workhorse. She picked it up. The SEALs muttered. "The M24, that's old school." "She doesn't know the difference." Morrison frowned. "You sure?" She checked the weapon. Bolt, magazine, scope. Her movements were automatic. "I'm sure." Kelly brought ammunition. 5 rounds. She loaded them. Smooth. Practiced. Then walked to the line and dropped prone. The SEALs went quiet. Morrison stood to the side, arms crossed, waiting for failure. She settled into the rifle. Stock to shoulder, cheek to rest, eye to scope. Her breathing slowed, deepened. That old rhythm from a different life. Inhale, exhale, hold. The first shot cracked. 800 meters downrange steel rang. Kelly had binoculars. 9.2, inner ring. Whistles. That was a damn good shot. Morrison's jaw tightened. She worked the bolt, smooth, fluid. Second round chambered. Inhale, exhale, hold. Crack. 9.7, closer. The SEALs leaned forward. This wasn't what they'd expected. Her hands weren't shaking anymore, steady as stone. Third round. Inhale, exhale, hold, crack. Kelly lowered the binoculars. His face went pale. 10.0, dead center. Holy shit. Morrison's arms uncrossed. He stared at her back. The way she moved, the way she breathed, the absolute stillness. This wasn't luck. This was mastery. Fourth round. She adjusted for crosswind, barely visible. Inhale, exhale, hold, crack. 10.0, perfect again. Only wind now. Nothing else. She chambered the final round, then sat up, removed the scope caps, flipped up the iron sights. What's she doing? No way. She's not. She lay back down. No scope, just iron sights. 800 meters. Kelly opened his mouth, closed it. He'd seen a lot in 30 years. But this, her breathing slowed again. That same rhythm burned into her nervous system, into her soul. Inhale, exhale, hold. The final shot echoed like judgment. 3 seconds of silence. Kelly raised the binoculars. His hands shook. 10.0, his voice cracked. Iron sights, 800 meters, 10.0. The SEALs exploded, shouting, swearing, slapping backs. Men who'd made impossible shots. Men who'd seen everything, losing their minds. Because what she'd just done was impossible. She stood, set the M24 down gently, turned to Morrison. Her face was calm. But something else lived there now. Something he'd seen in operators who'd been downrange too long, seen too much, lost too much. The look of someone who'd crossed a line and could never come back. Satisfied, Commander? Morrison couldn't speak. His mouth was dry, his mind racing. He'd been so certain she was playing pretend. But this was real. The laughter, the mockery, the humiliation he'd heaped on her. It rushed back like ice water. Kelly walked over. His face was grave. "Ma'am," he said quietly, "I need to ask you something, and I need an honest answer." She looked at him. "Have you ever fired in anger?" The question hung like smoke. Her dark eyes met Kelly's. For just a moment, one moment, the mask slipped. Morrison saw what lived behind it. Grief, rage, exhaustion, loss. The face of someone who'd seen hell and walked through it. "Some of us," she said softly, "had different childhoods, Master Chief." Then she turned, walked away. Not running, not hurrying, just walking. Back toward the armory, back to her mops and buckets and coveralls. Morrison stood frozen, his mind screaming that something was wrong. Very wrong. Kelly grabbed his arm. "Commander, we need to run a background check. Right now." "What, why?" Kelly's voice was urgent. "Because that woman isn't a contractor. She's an operator. I'd stake my career on it." "That's impossible. She's civilian. Is she?" Kelly's eyes were hard. "You saw what she just did. That's not talent. That's trained muscle memory from thousands of hours. That's the kind of shooting you only see from—" He stopped. Morrison's face went pale. "From who?" Kelly looked toward the armory where she'd disappeared. "From someone who's been to war. Real war. The kind that doesn't make reports." Morrison pulled out his phone, dialed base security. "This is Commander Morrison. I need a full background check on a civilian contractor, Madison Parker, works maintenance in the armory." He paused. "No, I don't care about normal channels. I want classified access. Whatever she's hiding, I want it found. Now." He hung up. Kelly was still watching the armory. "Commander, I don't think you're ready for what you're about to find." "Why not?" Kelly turned to him. His face was grim. "Because people like her, people who can shoot like that, move like that, have that look, they're only invisible for one reason." "What reason?" "Because someone powerful wanted them erased." Morrison felt a chill run down his spine. 50 SEALs were still on the range, talking excitedly about the impossible shots. But Morrison wasn't listening. He was thinking about the way she'd handled the Barrett. Stripped the M4 blindfolded. Put 5 rounds dead center at 800 meters like it was nothing. Like she'd done it 1,000 times before. His phone buzzed. Text from base security running check now. Initial results in 30 minutes. Morrison stared at the armory building. Who the hell was Madison Parker about? Morrison's office felt smaller than usual. He sat behind his desk. Kelly stood by the window. Neither spoke. The base security file sat between them. Unopened. Delivered 10 minutes ago by a nervous staff sergeant who'd left without making eye contact. Morrison reached for it. His hand stopped. "You ever get that feeling?" he said quietly. "That opening, something's gonna change everything." Kelly didn't turn from the window. "Every time I got orders for a new deployment. And I opened them anyway, because not knowing is worse." Morrison picked up the file. Standard manila folder. Thin, maybe 5 pages inside. He'd expected something thicker, more detailed. This woman had military-grade skills. There should be records, training documentation, service history. He opened it. The first page was a standard contractor profile. Name, age, social security number, current address, some apartment complex 15 minutes from base. Employment history, previous jobs at other military installations. All maintenance work, all low-level, all completely normal. He flipped to the second page. Employment references. 3 names. All checked out. All said the same thing. Madison Parker was reliable, quiet, did good work. Nothing remarkable. Nothing suspicious. Third page. Education, high school diploma, some community college. Dropped out after 2 semesters. Again, nothing unusual. Morrison frowned. "This doesn't make sense." Kelly turned from the window. "What? There's nothing here. Standard contractor file. No red flags, no military service, no specialized training." He looked up. "Master Chief, we both saw what she did. That wasn't self-taught. That wasn't hobby shooting. So where's her background?" Kelly walked over, took the file, scanned the pages. His frown deepened. "This is too clean," he said. "Too clean. Nobody's life is this simple. No speeding tickets, no medical incidents, no nothing." Kelly set the file down. "Commander, this reads like a cover story." Morrison's stomach dropped. "You think she's... I think we should request higher clearance, because if she's got the kind of background, I suspect it won't be in standard civilian files." Morrison grabbed his phone again, but before he could dial it, buzzed. "Unknown number," he answered. "Morrison." "Commander, this is Deputy Director Reeves' Defense Intelligence Agency." The voice was cold, professional. "I understand you've requested classified information on a civilian contractor named Madison Parker." Morrison's blood went cold. DIA didn't call about maintenance workers. "Yes, sir. I need... Your request is denied." "Excuse me, you don't have clearance for that information. Neither does Master Chief Kelly. Neither does anyone on your base." Morrison's jaw clenched. "Sir, with all due respect, this woman demonstrated advanced weapons skills. I have a right to know." "You have a right to nothing, Commander." Reeves's voice went hard. "Madison Parker's background is classified at the highest level. You will cease all inquiries immediately. You will not discuss her with your men. You will not mention this conversation. Am I clear? No, sir. You're not clear. I have 50 SEALs who watched. I don't care what your SEALs watched. This conversation is over. Your base commander will receive official documentation within the hour. Follow those instructions to the letter. The line went dead. Morrison stared at his phone. His hand shook with anger. Kelly's face had gone pale. DIAA. They shut us down hard. Morrison stood, started pacing. They said we don't have clearance. Nobody on base has clearance. They're sending documentation to the base commander. Jesus Christ. Kelly sat down. Commander, do you understand what that means? It means she's connected to something big. No. Kelly looked up. It means she was something big. Something they wanted buried. Morrison stopped pacing, looked at Kelly. What are you saying? I'm saying the only time DIA moves that fast to shut down inquiries is when someone's burned. When someone's identity is so sensitive that even confirming they exist is a threat. Kelly's voice dropped. Commander, I think Madison Parker isn't her real name. The office door burst open. A young lieutenant stood there breathing hard. Commander, you need to come to the armory, right now. Morrison's gut clenched. What happened? She's gone, sir. Madison Parker. Her locker's cleaned out. Her ID badge is on her desk. Security footage shows her leaving the base 30 minutes ago. She just disappeared. Morrison grabbed his jacket. Kelly was already moving. They ran. The armory felt wrong without the usual noise. Morrison pushed through to the maintenance section. The lieutenant was right. Madison's locker stood open. Empty. No personal items, no photos, nothing. Like she'd never been there. Her desk was the same. Clean, bare. Just the ID badge sitting in the center like a goodbye note. Kelly picked it up, turned it over. Commander, look at this. Morrison leaned in. On the back of the badge, written in small, precise handwriting, some ghosts should stay buried. I'm sorry for the disruption. M. She knew, Morrison said quietly. She knew we'd run the check. She knew DIA would get involved. That's why she left. Kelly set the badge down. Or someone warned her. Whoever's been protecting her identity, whoever wanted her erased in the first place. Kelly looked around the empty office. Commander, I spent 30 years in the teams. I've worked with CIA. I've worked with JSOC. I know what it looks like when someone disappears into black operations. He paused. That woman wasn't running from us. She was running from whoever just made a phone call to DIA. Morrison's phone buzzed. Text from the base commander. My office. Now. Come alone. Captain Holland looked like he'd aged 10 years in the last hour. Morrison stood at attention. Holland waved him to a chair. Sit down, Rick. This isn't that kind of meeting. Morrison sat. Holland poured 2 glasses of whiskey from a bottle he kept for bad news. Slid one across the desk. You're not going to like this, Holland said. Try me, sir. Holland opened a folder. Red stripe across the top. TSSCI clearance. He didn't show Morrison the contents, just held it closed on his desk. I received this 20 minutes ago, directly from the Pentagon. It contains information about Madison Parker, or rather about the woman who's been using that name. He paused. Rick, what I'm about to tell you is classified at a level you don't normally access. You cannot share this with your men. You cannot share it with Master Chief Kelly. You cannot write it down. Understood? Morrison's mouth was dry. Understood, sir. Holland took a drink, set his glass down carefully. The woman you met today is a former CIA Special Activities Division operator. Real name is classified. Madison Parker is her 4th cover identity in the last 3 years. She was officially declared KIA in Afghanistan in 2021. Her death was staged to extract her from a mission that went sideways. Morrison felt the room tilt. What mission? I don't know. That part's redacted even from me. What I do know is that she's not supposed to exist anymore. And the fact that she's been working on a military base, any military base, represents a massive security breach. Why was she here? Best guess she was hiding, using the civilian contractor system as cover. Probably figured a Navy base was the last place anyone would look for a CIA operator. Holland's face was grim. She figured wrong. Morrison's mind raced. Sir, her skills, what we saw today, that wasn't basic training. That was, I know what it was, Rick. I read the reports from your men. 5 perfect shots at 800 meters. 1 with iron sights. Holland leaned forward. The file says she held the record for longest confirmed kill, over 3,000 meters. She was one of the most effective snipers in CIA history. Silence. Morrison tried to process that, tried to reconcile the quiet woman in coveralls with what Holland was describing. What happened to her? Morrison asked quietly. Why did she disappear? Holland's face went dark. Her entire team was killed. Operation Nightfall. It was a targeted hit on high-value targets in Afghanistan. But someone leaked their position. The team was ambushed. She was the only survivor. He paused. The official story is that she died with her team. The real story is that she went underground. Too many questions about who leaked the intel. Too many powerful people with reasons to keep her silent. Morrison felt sick. They faked her death to protect the people who got her team killed. I didn't say that. Say, you didn't have to, sir. Holland finished his whiskey. Here's what happens now. You will tell your men that Madison Parker was a contractor who resigned for personal reasons. You will not mention her skills. You will not speculate about her background. This conversation never happened. And if anyone from DIA or CIA contacts you, you refer them directly to me. Clear. Crystal, sir. Good. Because if word gets out that she's alive, there are people who will move to fix that problem permanently. Morrison stood, saluted, turned to leave. Rick. He stopped. Holland's voice was quiet. She saved a lot of lives overseas. More than you or I will ever know. Whatever happened to her team, she didn't deserve to become a ghost. Remember that. Morrison nodded, left the office. The hallway felt colder than before. That night, Morrison couldn't sleep. He sat on his back porch with a beer, staring at nothing, thinking about the woman who'd knelt beside the Barrett that morning, the woman who'd taken his insults without flinching, who'd proven herself twice over, who'd walked away like she'd done it before. Because she had. She'd walked away from her entire life, her team, her identity, everything, and he'd humiliated her in front of 50 men. Morrison's phone was in his hand before he realized it. He pulled up the base directory, found Madison Parker's personnel file, the fake one, scrolled to her emergency contact, just one number, no name. He stared at it for 5 minutes, then dialed. It rang 4 times. He was about to hang up when someone answered. Hello? A woman's voice. Calm. Familiar. Morrison's throat was tight. I'm sorry. Silence on the other end. I'm sorry, he said again. For what I said. For how I treated you. You deserved better. More silence. Then quietly. You didn't know, Commander. That's not an excuse. I judged you by your coveralls, by assumptions. I was wrong. A long pause. He could hear her breathing on the other end. Steady. Controlled. You were protecting your men, she said finally. I understand that. Where are you? Somewhere safe. Will you be okay? Another pause. Longer this time. I've been running for 3 years, Commander. I don't know if okay is something I get to be anymore. But I'll survive. I always do. Morrison's chest hurt. The people who got your team killed, are they still out there? Yes. Do they know you're alive? They do now. Morrison closed his eyes. I'm sorry. If I hadn't run that background check. You were doing your job. I knew the risks. Her voice softened. Commander, can I tell you something? Anything. This morning in your armory with your men watching, that's the first time in 3 years I felt like myself, even for just a few minutes. So thank you for that. Morrison's voice cracked. What will you do now? What I've always done, keep moving, keep the truth alive. Make sure my team didn't die for nothing. If you ever need anything, I won't. A pause. But thank you. The line went dead. Morrison sat in the darkness, phone in hand, beer forgotten. Somewhere out there, a ghost was running again. Hunted by the same people who'd killed her team. Protected only by the skills that had made her the best. And he'd never know if she made it. The sun came up over Coronado Naval Base. Another morning. Another day, in the armory, the Barrett 50 cal sat in its rack. Clean, maintained, ready. Nobody knew who'd touched it last. Nobody asked. Morrison didn't tell Kelly about the phone call. 3 days passed. The armory felt emptier somehow. The SEALs had moved on training schedules, deployment prep, the usual grind. Nobody talked about the cleaning lady anymore. Nobody asked questions. Morrison had given his orders. Kelly had enforced them. Case closed. Except it wasn't. Morrison couldn't stop thinking about her voice on the phone. The way she'd said, I'll survive. I always do. Like survival was just another mission, another target, another thing to check off a list that never ended. Thursday morning, he was reviewing mission briefs when Kelly knocked. Come in. Kelly entered, closed the door behind him, stood there without speaking. Morrison looked up. Something on your mind, Master Chief? You talked to her, didn't you? Morrison's pen stopped moving. I don't know what you're... Commander, I've known you 15 years. I know when you're carrying something. Kelly's voice was quiet. You called her. After Holland's briefing. You called her. Morrison set the pen down, leaned back in his chair. Yeah, I did. And she's gone. Really gone this time. Running from people who want her dead. Kelly's jaw tightened. The people who got her team killed. You knew. I suspected. When DIA shut us down that fast, I knew it wasn't just about classified operations. It was about covering up something bigger. Kelly sat down. Who were they, Commander, who leaked her team's position? Morrison shook his head. Holland didn't say. Maybe he doesn't know. Maybe it's buried so deep nobody knows except the people who did it. And they're still out there. Yeah. Kelly was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, we should help her. We can't. Why not? Because we don't know where she is. Because we don't have clearance. Because getting involved would end both our careers and probably get us killed. Morrison's voice was hard. Master Chief, I know what you're thinking. I'm thinking it too. But we're operators, not vigilantes. We follow orders. Even when the orders protect traitors. The question hung between them like a live grenade. Morrison didn't answer. Couldn't answer, because Kelly was right. His phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. Package arriving at your office in 5 minutes. Don't open it with witnesses. Morrison showed Kelly the screen. What the hell? Kelly stood. You think it's from her? I don't know. 4 minutes later, a courier knocked, handed Morrison a padded envelope, left without speaking. Morrison waited until the courier was gone, locked his office door, opened the envelope. Inside was a USB drive and a handwritten note. Kelly read it over Morrison's shoulder. Commander, what you're about to see will destroy careers and end lives. Maybe yours, maybe mine. But my team deserves the truth. If something happens to me, give this to someone who can't be bought, someone who still believes in justice. I'm sorry for dragging you into this, but you're the only person I trust. M. Morrison plugged the USB into his laptop. One folder, labeled Operation Nightfall, the real story. He clicked it. Video files, audio recordings, classified documents, field reports, everything. Kelly leaned closer. Jesus Christ. Morrison opened the first video. Helmet cam footage. Nighttime. Desert terrain. A woman's voice. Madison's voice, calm and professional. Angel 1 to base. We're in position. Target building is 200 meters ahead. Thermal shows 8 hostiles inside, requesting clearance to engage. Another voice. Male. American. Base to Angel 1. You are cleared hot. Execute mission on your mark. Copy that. Angel team move in. The footage showed a team of 5 moving through darkness. Precise. Silent. Professional. They reached the building, stacked up at the entrance. Madison's voice, breaching in 3, 2, 1. The door exploded inward. Then everything went to hell. Gunfire erupted from positions that shouldn't have existed. Flanking positions. Pre-sighted kill zones. The hostiles weren't surprised, they were waiting. Ambush fallback. Angel 3 is down. Angel 2 is hit, I need. The voices cut off one by one. Screaming, shouting, gunfire, explosions. Madison's voice still calm somehow. Base, we're compromised. They knew we were coming, requesting immediate exfil. Negative Angel 1. No exfil available. You're on your own. What base, we have casualties, we need. I said negative. Mission is scrubbed. RTB if you can. Base out. The feed went dark. Morrison's hands were shaking. They abandoned them. Kelly's face was white. They sent them into an ambush and left them to die. Morrison opened the next file. Audio recording. 2 men talking. American accents. Educated. High-ranking. Made sure the intel reached the right people. The team won't make it back. And the leak. Covered. It'll look like enemy intelligence gathering. Nothing traces back to us. Good. Because if anyone finds out we sold those locations, nobody will find out. The team's being declared KIA. All evidence will be classified. And the contracts we signed with the Russians will be worth $50 million once. Morrison stopped the recording. His stomach was acid. They sold the team's position, he said quietly, to the Russians. For money. Kelly stood up, started pacing. Who's on that recording? Morrison opened another file. Photos. 2 men in suits, congressional office backgrounds. He recognized them immediately. Senator Richard Vance, Deputy Director of Operations Thomas Keller. Morrison's voice shook. They sold an American black ops team to the enemy for $50 million. And Madison survived. Yeah, she survived. And she's been running ever since because these 2 men have the power to make her disappear permanently. Morrison looked at Kelly. That's why DIA shut us down. That's why her death was faked. Because she's the only witness to the biggest betrayal in CIA history. Kelly stopped pacing. What do we do? I don't know. We have to do something. We can't just What, Master Chief? What do we do? Go to the press. These men have connections everywhere. Go to Congress. Vance is Congress. Go to the Pentagon. Keller has people there too. Morrison's voice was bitter. We're two military officers with a USB drive full of information we're not cleared to possess. If we try to expose this, we'll be arrested for mishandling classified material before we can say a word. Kelly sat back down, his hands curled into fists. So we do nothing. We let her keep running. We let those bastards walk free. I didn't say that. Then what? Morrison stared at the frozen frame on his laptop. Madison's face in the helmet cam. Young, determined, believing she was serving her country, not knowing she'd already been sold. We find someone who can't be bought, Morrison said quietly. Someone with enough power to fight back. Someone who will believe us. Who? Before Morrison could answer, his phone rang. Unknown number again. He answered. Morrison. Commander. Madison's voice was tight, strained. Did you get the package? Yeah, I got it. Then you know what I'm dealing with. I know. Morrison paused. Where are you? Doesn't matter. They found me again. I'm moving. Background noise, traffic voices. She was on the street somewhere. Commander, I need to know. Are you willing to help? Or should I find someone else? Morrison looked at Kelly. Kelly nodded. We're willing, Morrison said. What do you need? Time. I need time to get to someone who can use that evidence. But Vance and Keller have assets everywhere. Contract killers, intelligence operatives, local police on their payroll. I can't move freely without being spotted. How long do you need? 72 hours. If I can stay invisible for 3 days, I can reach my contact. But I need help. I need someone to create noise. Make them look the wrong direction. Morrison's mind raced. What kind of noise? The kind that makes powerful men nervous, make them think their secret's about to break, force them to scramble. While they're distracted, I slip through. Kelly leaned in. How do we make them nervous? Madison was quiet for a moment. Then, there's a journalist, Rebecca Santos, Washington Post. She's been investigating government corruption for 15 years. Untouchable. Can't be bought, can't be threatened. If she thinks she's onto something big, she'll start asking questions. The right questions. In the right places. You want us to contact her? No. I want you to let her find you. Make it look accidental. Drop hints. Let her think she's discovered something. Once she starts digging, Vance and Keller will focus on containing her. That gives me my window. Morrison wrote down the name. How do we contact you once it's done? You don't. If I make it, you'll know. If I don't... She paused. If I don't give that USB to Santos anyway, make sure the truth gets out. Make sure my team didn't die for nothing. Madison. Thank you, Commander, for believing me, for helping. I won't forget this. The line went dead. Kelly stood up. So we're really doing this. We're going against a senator and a CIA deputy director. Yeah. Morrison closed his laptop. We are. Our careers are over if this goes wrong. I know. We could end up in prison, or worse. I know that too. Kelly smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. Good. Just wanted to make sure you knew what we're getting into. Morrison pulled up Rebecca Santos's contact information. Washington Post main office. He could call directly. But Madison was right, had to look accidental. Had to look like Santos discovered them. Master Chief, you still have that contact at Naval Intelligence, the analyst who owes you a favor? Yeah, Commander Lisa Hayes. Why? Because we're going to leak a story. Not the real story, not yet. Just enough to get Santos interested. Make it look like there's corruption in a CIA operation. Afghanistan, 2021. Dead operators. Classified mission gone wrong. Morrison met Kelly's eyes. Hayes can plant it in the right intelligence circles. Santos monitors those channels. She'll bite. Kelly nodded slowly. And when she comes asking questions, we play dumb. We're just Navy SEALs who heard rumors. We don't know details. We don't have evidence. But we point her in the right direction. Let her think she's the one connecting the dots. She'll want proof. Eventually, but not right away. First, she'll investigate. She'll start making calls. She'll rattle cages. Morrison smiled grimly. And while Vance and Keller are dealing with that, Madison makes her move. Kelly pulled out his phone. I'll call Hayes now. Make it subtle. We're not trying to blow this wide open. We're just creating ripples. I understand. Kelly stepped into the hallway to make the call. Morrison sat alone with his laptop, the frozen image of Madison's face still on the screen. He thought about the phone call. The way her voice had sounded tired, strained, but still fighting, still moving forward, because stopping meant dying. And she'd already lost too much to quit now. His desk phone rang. Base Commander. Morrison. Rick, my office. Now. Holland's voice was wrong. Too tight. Too controlled. On my way, sir. Morrison locked his laptop in his safe. Grabbed his cover. Walked to Holland's office with his gut telling him something had changed. Holland was standing by his window when Morrison entered. Not sitting. Standing. Staring out at the base like he was seeing it for the first time. Close the door, Holland said without turning. Morrison closed it. Sir. Holland turned. His face looked 10 years older than it had 3 days ago. I just got a call from Washington. Senator Richard Vance's office. Seems the senator is very interested in a former contractor who worked on this base. Madison Parker. Morrison's blood went cold. Sir, Don't lie to me, Rick. Holland's voice was sharp. I know you called her. I know she contacted you. I know about the USB drive. Morrison's mind raced. How did Holland know who was watching? Holland sat down heavily. Sit. Morrison sat. Rick, I'm going to tell you something that could get me killed, but you need to understand what you're up against. Holland leaned forward. Vance and Keller aren't just corrupt politicians. They're part of something bigger, a network. People in Congress, CIA, Pentagon, State Department. They've been selling classified information to foreign governments for years. Madison's team stumbled onto evidence of it. That's why they had to die. You knew. I suspected. When DIA moved so fast to shut down your inquiry, I started asking my own questions. Quietly. Carefully. Holland's face was grim. I found enough to know this goes higher than you can imagine. And I found enough to know that helping Madison Parker is suicide. Then why are you telling me this? Holland was quiet for a long moment. Then, because sometimes suicide is the right choice. Morrison stared at him. I'm 3 months from retirement, Holland continued. 32 years in the Navy. I've followed orders my whole career. Good orders, bad orders. Didn't matter. I followed them because that's what we do. He paused. But this is different. This is American operators being sold to the enemy by the people who swore to protect them. And if I retire without doing something about it, I'll die knowing I was a coward. What are you saying, sir? I'm saying I'll help. I'll cover for you and Kelly. I'll run interference if Vance starts making noise. I'll do whatever I can to buy Madison time. Holland's eyes were hard. But Rick, you need to understand this might not work. Madison might not make it. We might not make it. And even if we expose Vance and Keller, there are 10 more just like them waiting to take their place. So we do nothing. No, we do something. Because doing something is better than doing nothing, even if it kills us. Holland stood, walked to his safe, opened it, pulled out a file. This is everything I could find on Operation Nightfall. It's not much, most of it's redacted, but there's enough here to support Madison's story if it comes to that. He handed Morrison the file. Thank you, sir. Holland nodded. Now get out of here before someone sees us together. And Rick, be careful. These people don't play by the rules. They'll kill you without hesitation if they think you're a threat. Morrison left the office. His hands were shaking. Not from fear. From anger. Because Holland was right. This was bigger than Madison. Bigger than one betrayed team. This was systemic corruption at the highest levels of government, and fighting it meant going against an enemy with unlimited resources and no conscience. But he'd made his choice. Kelly was waiting in the armory. Hayes is in. She's going to leak the story through back channels. Santos should pick it up within 24 hours. Good. Morrison handed him Holland's file. The captain's helping us. He's got more intel on Operation Nightfall. Kelly's eyebrows shot up. Holland's in. Yeah, he's in. Jesus, this is really happening. Yeah. Morrison checked his watch. 72 hours. That's all Madison needs. We keep Vance and Keller busy for 3 days, and she makes it to her contact. And if she doesn't, Morrison's jaw tightened. Then we make sure the truth comes out anyway. That night, Morrison couldn't sleep again. He sat in his living room with the lights off, laptop open, USB drive plugged in, watching the videos, listening to the audio, reading the documents. Every piece of evidence was another nail in Vance and Keller's coffin. But it was also another reminder of what Madison had lost. Her team, her identity, her life. All because she'd been good at her job. All because she'd survived when she wasn't supposed to. His phone buzzed. Text from unknown number. Thank you for trusting me. 24 hours from now, make sure you're somewhere public. Somewhere with cameras. Establish an alibi. Things are going to get loud. M. Morrison stared at the message. What was she planning? He texted back. What are you going to do? No response. He waited 5 minutes. 10. Nothing. Finally, another text. What I should have done 3 years ago. I'm done running. Morrison's stomach dropped. No, Madison, don't. But she was already gone. He called Kelly. We've got a problem. What kind of problem? Madison's not running anymore. She's going on offense. Kelly was quiet for a beat. What does that mean? I don't know. But she told me to establish an alibi for tomorrow. Somewhere public. Somewhere with cameras. Jesus Christ, she's going after them. That's what I'm thinking. Commander, we need to stop her. If she goes after Vance or Keller directly, they'll kill her. They'll make it look like an accident and bury her for real this time. I know, but I don't know where she is. I don't know how to reach her. Kelly swore. Then we better pray she knows what she's doing. Morrison hung up. Sat in the darkness. Thinking about a woman he'd met only once. A woman who'd handled a Barrett 50 cal like it was part of her body. Who'd put 5 rounds dead center at 800 meters. Who'd survived an ambush that killed her entire team. A woman who'd been trained to kill, and who was now hunting the men who'd tried to kill her. Morrison pulled up Vance's public schedule. The senator was giving a speech tomorrow at a defense contractor conference in San Diego. Public venue. Hundreds of attendees. Security everywhere. The worst possible place to make a move, or the best, depending on how you looked at it. Morrison's phone buzzed again. Another text from Madison. Don't try to stop me. I've made my peace. If I die tomorrow, I die knowing I fought back. That's more than most ghosts get. Thank you for everything, Commander. You're a good man. Morrison typed frantically. Madison, wait. We can do this another way. We can... His text bounced back. Number disconnected. She'd thrown away her phone. She was going dark. And tomorrow, one way or another, everything would end. Morrison didn't sleep. He spent the night making calls, pulling strings, trying to find any trace of Madison Parker. Every contact came up empty. She'd vanished completely. At 05:30, Kelly showed up at his door with coffee and a grim expression. "Anything?" Morrison asked. "Nothing. It's like she never existed." Kelly handed him the coffee. "But I found something else. Vance's speech is at the Grand Hyatt. Starts at 1400, 500 people attending. Secret Service is handling security." Secret Service. Vance chairs the Senate Intelligence Committee. He gets protection. Kelly paused. "Commander, if Madison's planning what I think she's planning, she won't get within 100 yards of him." Morrison's phone buzzed. Text from Holland, Rebecca Santos, just published an article. Unnamed sources suggest classified CIA operation in Afghanistan may have been compromised by internal leak. It's starting. "Kelly, look at this." Kelly read the text. Hayes moved fast. Too fast. Santos published at 0500. That's 5 hours before Vance's speech. Morrison's gut twisted. Madison wanted Santos to publish early. She wanted Vance to know someone's investigating him. Why? Because nervous men make mistakes. Kelly's eyes widened. She's not going after Vance. She's making him come to her. Morrison grabbed his keys. "We need to get to that conference now." They drove to San Diego in Morrison's truck. 45 minutes of silence. Both of them thinking the same thing. They were about to watch someone die. Either Madison or Vance. Maybe both. The Grand Hyatt was chaos when they arrived at 12:30. Security checkpoints everywhere. Secret Service agents with earpieces scanning the crowd. Local police on every corner. Conference attendees streaming through metal detectors. Morrison and Kelly flashed their military IDs, got visitor badges, moved into the main conference hall. 500 seats, all filling up. Defense contractors, military brass, congressional staffers. Everyone there to hear Senator Vance talk about national security and the importance of continued defense spending. The irony made Morrison sick. Kelly's phone buzzed. He checked it. His face went pale. "Commander, I just got a message from Hayes. She says Santos got a second source. Someone claiming to be a CIA operative with direct knowledge of Operation Nightfall. Santos is trying to verify it now." "Madison," Morrison said. "She contacted Santos directly. But when she threw away her phone last night, she must have contacted her before that, set it up in advance." Morrison scanned the crowd. "She's not coming here to kill Vance. She's coming here to force him into the open, make him panic, make him do something stupid while Santos is watching." Kelly grabbed his arm. "Commander, look." Morrison turned. A woman had just entered through the side entrance, dark hair pulled back, wearing a catering uniform, carrying a tray of glasses, moving through the crowd with practiced ease. Madison. Morrison started forward. Kelly held him back. "Wait," Kelly hissed. "If we blow her cover now, Secret Service will arrest her before she can do anything. If we don't stop her, she might get killed. She knows the risks. She chose this." Kelly's voice was hard. "We have to trust her." Morrison watched Madison move through the crowd. She wasn't heading toward the stage. She was heading toward the back exit, setting up her escape route. Smart. At 13:45, the lights dimmed. A voice over the loudspeaker. "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Senator Richard Vance." Applause filled the hall. Vance walked onto the stage. Mid-50s. Silver hair, expensive suit. The smile of a man who'd never faced consequences in his life. Morrison wanted to put a bullet in him. Vance reached the podium, adjusted the microphone, started speaking. "Thank you all for being here today. We live in dangerous times. Our enemies grow stronger every day. But I want to assure you, His phone buzzed. On the podium, visible to everyone. Vance frowned, ignored it, kept talking. It buzzed again and again and again. Vance's smile faltered. He glanced down, saw the screen. His face went white. "Excuse me for one moment," he said, stepped back from the microphone, pulled out his phone. The audience murmured. This wasn't normal. Morrison watched Vance's face change from pale to red to purple. The senator looked up, scanned the crowd like he was searching for someone. His hand shook as he put the phone away. "I apologize," Vance said. His voice was tight. "Something urgent has come up. I'm afraid I need to cut this short." More murmuring. Confusion. Vance never cut speeches short. Vance left the stage. Fast, almost running. Secret Service agents moved to follow him, but Vance waved them off, said something Morrison couldn't hear. The agents looked confused, but stayed back. Vance disappeared through a side door. Madison set down her tray, followed him. 20 seconds behind. Calm. Professional. Morrison grabbed Kelly. "Move!" They pushed through the crowd, reached the side door. A Secret Service agent blocked their path. "Sorry, sirs. Restricted area." Morrison flashed his ID. "Commander Morrison, Naval Special Warfare. I need to speak with Senator Vance. It's urgent." "The senator's not taking visitors right now. It's about Operation Nightfall." The agent's expression didn't change, but his hand moved toward his radio. Kelly stepped in. "We're not here to cause problems. Just need 2 minutes with the senator. National security matter." The agent studied them, weighing options. Finally nodded. "Follow me, stay close. Don't touch anything." He led them down a hallway, conference rooms on both sides, all empty, the sounds of the crowd fading behind them. They turned a corner, voices ahead, angry, one male, one female. The agent stopped. "Wait here." He moved forward, hand on his weapon. Morrison and Kelly ignored him, kept walking. The agent turned. "Sirs," I said. "We heard you," Morrison said. Kept moving. They reached an open door, conference room. Small, 10 chairs around a table. Senator Vance stood at the far end, his back to the door, talking on his phone, his voice shaking with rage. "I don't care what it takes. Find her. Find her now. She's here in San Diego. She contacted that reporter. She's going to destroy everything. You need to—" He stopped, turned. Saw Morrison and Kelly. His face went white again. "I'll call you back," he said into the phone. Hung up. Straightened his tie. The politician's mask sliding back into place. "Gentlemen, can I help you?" Morrison stepped into the room. "We need to talk, Senator, about Madison Parker." Vance's eye twitched. Just slightly. "I don't know who that is." "Yes, you do. You sent people to find her. You've been hunting her for 3 years, ever since she survived the ambush you arranged." The Secret Service agent moved forward. "Sirs, I'm going to have to ask you to—" "Operation Nightfall," Kelly said. His voice cut through the room like a blade. "Afghanistan, 2021. 5 operators sent into an ambush. Only 1 survived. You want to tell us why you sold their position to the Russians?" Vance's mask cracked. "I have no idea what you're talking about, and if you don't leave right now, I'll have you both arrested for harassment." "Go ahead," Morrison said. "Arrest us, in front of all those people out there, in front of Rebecca Santos from the Washington Post. She's in the building, by the way. Did you know that she's here covering your speech? And she's very interested in Operation Nightfall." Vance's hands curled into fists. "You're making a serious mistake." "No, Senator. You made the mistake. You thought you could bury the truth. You thought you could hunt down the only witness and make her disappear." Morrison stepped closer. "But she's not running anymore. She's here. Right now. In this building. And she's got enough evidence to destroy you. Vance's phone buzzed. He glanced at it. His face went from white to gray. "What is it, Senator?" Kelly asked. "Bad news." Vance looked up. His voice was a whisper. "Where is she?" "Somewhere you can't reach her," Morrison said. "Somewhere safe, with people who can't be bought." That was a lie. Morrison had no idea where Madison was. But Vance didn't need to know that. Vance's phone buzzed again. He looked at the screen. Swore, started typing frantically. The Secret Service agent's radio crackled. "All units, we have a situation in the parking garage. Possible security breach. Level B2. Responding now." The agent's hand went to his weapon. He spoke into his radio. "Copy that. En route." He looked at Morrison and Kelly. "Stay here. Don't move." He ran out. Vance was still typing on his phone, his hands shaking so badly he kept hitting the wrong keys. Morrison moved closer. "Senator, you need to listen to me. Whatever you're planning, whatever orders you're giving right now, it's over. Madison's already won. The evidence is out there. Multiple copies, multiple sources. You can't stop it." "I can stop her," Vance said. His voice was cold now, hard. "I've stopped people before. Smarter people. More dangerous people. She's just one woman. One broken operator who should have died with her team." Kelly's fist hit the table. "Those were American soldiers. They trusted you. They believed they were serving their country." "They were serving their country," Vance said. "Just not the way they thought. Sometimes sacrifices are necessary. Sometimes people have to die so that bigger things can be accomplished." He looked up, met Morrison's eyes. "You should understand that, Commander. You've sent men into danger. You've made hard calls. You've sacrificed lives for the mission." Morrison's voice was ice. "I've never sold my men to the enemy for money." Vance smiled. It was the ugliest thing Morrison had ever seen. "Haven't you? Every budget you approve, every contract you sign, every defense contractor you work with, you think that's not about money? You think those decisions don't cost lives?" He laughed. "Don't pretend you're better than me, Commander. We're all just trying to survive in a world that doesn't care about honor or justice. The only difference is I'm honest about it." Morrison's hand moved toward his sidearm. Kelly grabbed his wrist. "Don't," Kelly said quietly. "He's not worth it." Gunshots echoed from somewhere below them. 3 shots. Rapid. Professional. Then silence. Vance's phone buzzed. He looked at it. His face changed. The confidence melted away. His hands started shaking again. "No," he whispered. "No, no, no." Morrison's phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. "Keller's dead. Parking garage B2. Clean shot." Heart stopped before he hit the ground. Vance is next unless he surrenders to federal custody in the next 60 seconds. Tell him the choice is his. M. Morrison showed Kelly the phone. Kelly's eyes widened. "She killed Keller." "Yeah." Vance was hyperventilating now. "She's insane. She's completely insane. She just killed a CIA deputy director in a public building. They'll hunt her down. They'll execute her." "Maybe," Morrison said. "Or maybe she doesn't care anymore. Maybe she's decided dying is better than running. And maybe she's decided to take you with her." He leaned closer. "Madison Parker is the best sniper in CIA history. 3,000-meter kill record. You think she can't reach you from wherever she is right now? You think these walls will protect you?" Vance backed against the wall. "I have Secret Service protection. I have Secret Service can't stop a bullet they don't see coming." Morrison's voice was cold. "You've got one chance, Senator. Surrender. Walk out there right now and tell those agents everything. Confess to the corruption. Confess to selling out Operation Nightfall. Confess to hunting Madison Parker. Do it publicly. Do it where everyone can hear, or she puts a bullet in your head, and we tell everyone you committed suicide out of guilt. You're bluffing. She's not here. She can't be. Kelly pulled out his phone, showed Vance a photo. Madison. In the parking garage, standing over Keller's body, holding a rifle, looking directly at the camera. Timestamp 2 minutes ago. That photo was taken from a security camera I'm accessing right now. Kelly lied smoothly. She sent it to us. She wanted you to know she's real. She's here. And she's not playing games anymore. Vance stared at the photo. His breathing was ragged. What does she want? Justice, Morrison said. For her team, for the truth, for 3 years of running. He checked his watch. You've got 30 seconds, Senator. What's it gonna be? Vance's phone buzzed again. He looked at it. Whatever he saw there broke him completely. His legs gave out. He slid down the wall until he was sitting on the floor, tears running down his face. I never wanted them to die, he whispered. I just needed the money. I had debts. I had people threatening me. I didn't think anyone would actually get hurt. I thought it was just information, just locations. I didn't know they'd kill the whole team. Morrison felt nothing but contempt. That makes it worse, Senator, not better. Vance looked up. What do I do? You walk out there. You find Rebecca Santos. You give her an exclusive interview. You tell her everything, every name, every deal, every dollar. You burn the whole network down. And maybe Madison lets you live. And if I don't, Kelly's voice was flat, then you die here. Today. And we tell everyone you had a heart attack from the stress. Vance closed his eyes. Sat there for 10 seconds, 20. Then he stood up. Okay, he said. I'll do it. Morrison opened the door. After you, Senator. They walked back toward the conference hall. Vance in front, Morrison and Kelly behind. The Secret Service agent met them halfway. His face was pale. Senator, we need to get you out of here. There's been an incident. Deputy Director Keller is dead. Someone shot him in the parking garage. We're evacuating the building. No, Vance said. His voice was stronger now, resigned. No evacuation. I need to make a statement. Where's Rebecca Santos? Sir, this isn't the time for... Where is she? The agent looked confused. She's in the press area. But Senator, take me to her. Now. They reached the press area. Santos was there with a cameraman, packing up equipment, getting ready to leave. Vance walked straight up to her. Ms. Santos, I'm Senator Richard Vance. I understand you've been investigating Operation Nightfall. Santos turned. Her eyes went wide. Senator, yes, I've been... I want to give you an interview. Exclusive. On camera, right now. Vance's voice was shaking, but clear. I want to confess to my role in the betrayal of a CIA Special Activities Division team in Afghanistan. I want to confess to accepting bribes from foreign governments. I want to confess to conspiracy to commit murder. Santos's jaw dropped. You... what... is your camera on? She nodded frantically at her cameraman. He scrambled to set up, hit record. Vance looked directly at the lens. My name is Senator Richard Vance, and I've committed treason against the United States of America. This is my confession. Morrison stepped back, watched it happen. Watched a man destroy himself on camera because he was more afraid of dying than living with the truth. Kelly leaned close. Think Madison's really still here? No, Morrison said quietly. I think she left the second she shot Keller. She's probably miles away by now. Then how did we get that photo? We didn't. I made it up. Took a screenshot from the USB drive footage. Changed the timestamp. Vance never looked close enough to notice it wasn't real. Kelly smiled. You sneaky bastard. Learned from the best Master Chief. Vance was still talking, listing names, dates, dollar amounts. Santos was scribbling notes frantically, her hands shaking with the realization of what she was hearing. This was the story of a lifetime. This was the story that would bring down a network of corruption spanning decades. And it was all happening because one woman refused to stay dead. Morrison's phone buzzed. Text from unknown number. "Thank you, Commander, for everything, for believing me, for helping me, for giving me a chance to fight back. I know you lied to Vance about the photo. That was clever. My team would have liked you. Take care of yourself. And if you ever need someone to clean a Barrett 50 cal, you know where to find me. M." Morrison smiled. Texted back, "Where are you?" The response came immediately. "Somewhere safe. Finally." Then, "P.S. Tell Kelly his field strip time is 4:23. He can do better. I've seen him work." M. Morrison showed Kelly. Kelly laughed. The first real laugh Morrison had heard from him in days. "She's got jokes," Kelly said. "Yeah, she does." They watched Vance finish his confession, watched Secret Service agents move in, watched the senator get arrested on camera while Rebecca Santos's hands shook with excitement. It was over. The truth was out. And somewhere in America, a ghost could finally rest. Morrison and Kelly left the building, walked to the truck. Neither spoke for a long time. Finally, Kelly said, "What do you think happens now?" "Vance goes to prison. The network starts collapsing. Other names come out. More arrests, more confessions." Morrison started the engine. "And Madison gets to live, really live, not just survive." "You think she'll stop running?" Morrison thought about that. Remembered her voice on the phone, the exhaustion, the resignation, but also the strength. "I think she'll do whatever she needs to do," he said, "just like she always has." They drove back to Coronado in silence, both thinking about a woman they'd underestimated, a woman who'd turned humiliation into opportunity, who'd turned pain into purpose, a woman who'd been trained to kill but chose to expose the truth instead. When they reached the base, Holland was waiting in Morrison's office. His face was grim, but his eyes were bright. "I saw the news," Holland said. "Santos's exclusive is already going viral. Vance is in federal custody. FBI is opening investigations into everyone he named." He paused. "You two did good work." "Wasn't us, sir," Morrison said. "It was all her." Holland nodded. "Where is she now?" "Gone. Safe. That's all we know." "Good. That's how it should be." Holland stood. "This stays between us. The official story is that we had no involvement. We were just attending a conference when Vance had his breakdown. Understood?" "Yes, sir." Holland left. The office felt bigger without him. Kelly sat down. "Commander, can I ask you something?" "Yeah." "Do you think she'll be okay?" "Really? Okay." Morrison looked out the window, toward the ocean, toward the horizon where Madison had disappeared. "I think she's been not okay for 3 years," he said quietly. "But maybe now she's got a chance to heal, to stop looking over her shoulder, to remember who she was before the war." And who was that? Morrison thought about the way she'd handled the Barrett. The precision, the care, the respect for the weapon. "A soldier," he said. "A damn good soldier who loved her country and lost everything serving it. But maybe, just maybe, she can find something new to love. Something worth living for instead of dying for." Kelly nodded. Stood. "I'm gonna head home. Get some sleep. First time in days." "Me too." Kelly left. Morrison sat alone in his office, thinking about ghosts and justice and the price of truth. His phone buzzed one last time. Text from unknown number. "One more thing. Commander, The Barrett you saw me cleaning that morning firing pin was damaged. I replaced it. The weapon's good for another 10,000 rounds now. You're welcome. M. Morrison laughed. Because of course she'd noticed. Of course she'd fixed it. That's who she was. A maintenance worker who happened to be the deadliest sniper in CIA history. He texted back, "Thank you for everything. Stay safe out there." No response. The number was already disconnected again. But that was okay. Madison Parker knew how to disappear, how to survive, how to fight. And somewhere in America, she was finally free. Morrison slept for 12 hours straight. When he woke up, his phone had 47 missed calls. Most were from reporters. 3 were from Pentagon officials. 1 was from Holland with a simple message, "Don't talk to anyone. Lawyer up if needed." Morrison deleted all of them except Holland's. He made coffee, sat on his porch, watched the sun come up over Coronado. His mind felt clearer than it had in days. Like some weight he'd been carrying had finally lifted. Madison was safe. Vance was arrested. The truth was out. It should have felt like victory. But something nagged at him. Something wrong. Something incomplete. His phone rang. "Kelly." "You see the news?" Kelly's voice was tight. "No. What happened?" Vance recanted his confession. Said he was under duress. Said someone threatened to kill him if he didn't confess on camera. His lawyers are claiming coercion and mental breakdown. Morrison's coffee went cold in his hand. "What? Gets worse. FBI found Keller's body. Ballistics show the bullet came from a .308. Same caliber Madison would use. They're calling it a political assassination. They're saying Vance was a victim, not a perpetrator." "That's insane. We have the USB drive. We have evidence." "Do we?" Kelly's voice dropped. "Commander, where's the drive?" Morrison's stomach dropped. He ran inside, opened his safe. The USB drive was gone. "Son of a bitch." "Yeah," Kelly said. "Someone got to it. Someone with access to your office. Someone who knew where you kept it." Morrison's mind raced. Who had access? Holland. The cleaning staff. Base security. Any of them could have taken it while he was in San Diego. "The evidence is gone," Morrison said quietly. "Without it, we can't prove anything." And Vance's lawyers are spinning this as a conspiracy. They're saying a rogue CIA operative Madison went crazy and killed Keller, then forced Vance to confess to crimes he didn't commit. Kelly paused. "Commander, they're making her look like a terrorist." Morrison's fist hit the table. His coffee cup shattered. "We had him. We had everything. How did this happen?" "Because Vance isn't working alone. He never was. Whatever network he's part of, they moved fast. They cleaned up. They flipped the narrative. And now Madison's not a whistleblower. She's a murderer." "Where is she? Have you heard from her?" "No. Radio silence. I've tried every back channel I have. Nothing." Morrison's phone buzzed. Text from unknown number. "They took the drive. I know. It's okay. I have another copy. But I need your help one more time. Meet me tonight. 2200 hours. Cabrillo Lighthouse. Come alone. Tell no one. M." Morrison showed the text to Kelly over video call. Kelly's face was grim. "It's a trap." "Maybe. Definitely. Vance's people know she contacted us. They'll be watching. They'll follow you straight to her." "Then I'll make sure they don't follow me." "Commander, she needs help, Master Chief, and we owe her." Morrison's voice was hard. "I'm going. Then I'm going with you." She said, "Come alone." And I said, "I'm going with you." Kelly's tone left no room for argument. If it's a trap, you need backup. If it's not, she can deal with having 2 people instead of 1. Morrison checked his watch. 08:47. He had 13 hours to prepare. 13 hours to figure out how to get to that lighthouse without being followed. "Okay," he said. "But we do this smart. We assume we're being watched. We assume phones are tapped. We assume everything we do is monitored." "Agreed. How do we shake surveillance?" Morrison thought about it. "We need to split up. Make them choose who to follow. You take your truck and head north. Make it obvious. I'll slip out on foot and grab a rental car. We meet at the lighthouse from different directions. And if they follow both of us, then we improvise." Kelly smiled grimly. Story of our lives. They spent the next hour planning. Routes, timing, contingencies. By 1,000 hours, they had a workable plan. Morrison left his apartment at 14:30, walked to the gym on base. Normal routine, nothing suspicious. He worked out for 90 minutes, kept checking for tails, saw at least a man in a blue sedan and a woman pretending to jog. Amateur hour. At 1600 he left the gym, walked to the commissary, bought groceries, still being followed. The man in the blue sedan stayed 50 yards back. The jogger had disappeared. Morrison drove home. Unloaded groceries. Waited. At 1800 Kelly called, loud enough for anyone listening to hear clearly. "Hey, Commander, you still up for that fishing trip tomorrow? I've got the boat reserved." "Yeah, sounds good. What time?" "Early, so 500. I want to get out before the tourists show up." "Works for me. See you then." They hung up. Anyone listening would think Morrison was settling in for the night, planning a fishing trip. Nothing urgent. At 19:30, Morrison turned off all the lights in his apartment, made it look like he'd gone to bed early. Then he slipped out the back window. He moved through the darkness between buildings, stayed low, avoided streetlights. 30 years of training kicked in automatically. By 1950, he'd covered half a mile on foot without being spotted. He reached a car rental place 6 blocks from base, used cash, gave a fake name. The clerk didn't care. Handed him keys to a gray Honda Civic. Morrison drove toward the lighthouse, took a circuitous route, doubled back twice. Checked mirrors constantly. No tail. Kelly texted at 20:30 clear. En route. Morrison arrived at Cabrillo Lighthouse at 21:45. The parking lot was empty. He killed the engine. Sat in darkness. Waiting. The lighthouse stood against the night sky like a pale finger pointing at stars. Closed to tourists at this hour. Nothing moving except wind and waves below. Morrison's hand rested on his sidearm. Just in case. At 2200 exactly, a figure emerged from the shadows near the lighthouse base. Madison. She wore dark clothes. No coveralls this time. Tactical pants, black jacket boots built for running. Her hair was shorter. Different color. Brown instead of dark. Another disguise. Morrison stepped out of the car. "You changed your hair." "I change everything every 3 days. Habit." She looked at the car. "You weren't followed?" "No. I've been here since 1900. Nobody's come near this place except you." She paused. "Where's Kelly?" "How did you—" "Because Kelly wouldn't let you come alone. He's too smart for that." "Where is he?" As if on cue, Kelly emerged from behind a maintenance building, his hand near his weapon. "Ma'am," he said. Madison smiled. It was the first real smile Morrison had seen from her. "Master Chief, your field strip time really is 4:23. You should work on that." Kelly laughed despite himself. "Noted." Madison's smile faded. "You saw the news. You know what they're doing." "Yeah," Morrison said. "Vance recanted. They stole our evidence. They're making you the villain." "That was always the plan. I knew they'd flip it. I knew they'd take the drive. She pulled something from her jacket. Another USB drive. That's why I made 5 copies. 1 for you, 1 for Santos. 1 for insurance, 1 for my contact, and 1 for me. Morrison took the drive. Why didn't you tell us you had backups? Because I needed to see how fast they'd move, how many people they had in place, who they'd compromise. Her eyes were hard. Your office was broken into by base security, specifically Staff Sergeant Travis Miller. He took the drive and delivered it to a CIA handler named Sarah Chen. She destroyed it within 6 hours. Kelly's jaw dropped. Miller. He's been on base for 8 years. I know him. You know his cover. His real name is Travis Burke. He's been on Vance's payroll since 2019. He's not the only one. Madison pulled out a phone, showed them photos. Captain Holland, Master Chief Kelly, Commander Morrison, all under surveillance. They have operatives watching all of you, waiting to see who I contact, what I do next. Morrison felt cold. How do you know all this? Because I've been watching them watch you. I've been 3 steps ahead since I left the base. She put the phone away. And now I'm going to use that advantage to end this. Permanently. How? Kelly asked. By forcing Vance to confess again. On camera. With no way to recant. No way to claim coercion. Madison's voice was ice. I'm going to make him tell the truth in front of witnesses who can't be bought. Witnesses who matter. Morrison studied her face. You're talking about going public. Real public. Not just a reporter. Something bigger. Congressional hearing. Open session. Televised. Vance will testify under oath. If he lies, he commits perjury. If he tells the truth, he destroys himself, and everyone protecting him. Madison paused. But I need help making it happen. I need someone with connections, someone who can force a hearing. Who? Senator Patricia Hayes, Massachusetts. She chairs the Senate Ethics Committee. She's been trying to investigate corruption for years but keeps getting blocked. Madison met Morrison's eyes. If she had evidence, real evidence of a senator committing treason, she could force a hearing. She could subpoena Vance. Make him testify. Kelly frowned. Hayes has been trying to clean up Congress forever. But she's 1 vote against 50. She doesn't have the power to... She does if the evidence is undeniable. If it's public. If it's already trending on social media, and the news is covering it 24/7. Madison's smile was cold. I'm going to leak everything. Tonight, every document, every recording, every piece of evidence from Operation Nightfall. I'm going to flood the internet with truth. And then Hayes will have no choice but to act. The public pressure will force the hearing. Morrison felt his stomach turn. If you do that, you'll be exposed. Your face, your real identity, everything. You'll never be able to hide again. I know. They'll come after you. Vance, his network, everyone. I know. Madison. Morrison's voice cracked. You'll be a target for the rest of your life, however long that is. Madison looked at him. Her eyes were clear, calm, resigned. Commander, I've been a target for 3 years. I've been running, hiding, changing my name every few months, living in motels and eating gas station food and never sleeping more than 3 hours at a time because I'm terrified someone will find me. Her voice was soft. That's not living. That's just slow dying. And I'm done with it. I'd rather fight and lose than run and survive. At least fighting feels like I'm still human. Kelly's voice was rough. What do you need from us? Protection. When I leak the files, Vance's people will move immediately. They'll try to find me, kill me before the hearing can happen. I need somewhere safe to hide for 48 hours, somewhere they won't look, somewhere off the grid. Morrison thought fast. I know a place. A friend's cabin in the mountains, 2 hours north. No cell service, no internet. Off every grid. He uses it for hunting. It's empty right now. That works. But Madison, once you leak those files, there's no going back. Your life as you knew it, any life you might have had, it's over. You'll never have privacy again, never have peace. Are you sure? She looked at him for a long moment. Then she said very quietly, "My life ended in Afghanistan when I watched my team die. Everything since then has been borrowed time. I'm just returning it to whoever's been keeping score." She paused. "Besides, my team deserves the truth. They deserves people knowing they didn't die because of enemy intelligence. They died because someone sold them, and that truth is worth whatever price I have to pay." Morrison pulled out his phone. "I'll text you the coordinates to the cabin. Keys are hidden under a rock by the back door. Red rock. You'll see it." "Thank you. When are you releasing the files?" Madison checked her watch. "In 2 hours. I've got everything ready. Once I hit send, it goes to 50 different outlets simultaneously. News agencies, social media, forums, blogs, everywhere. They won't be able to contain it." Kelly stepped forward. "Ma'am, when this is over, when you testify and Vance goes down, what will you do?" Madison's smile was sad. "I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead. I stopped making plans when I started running. You can't plan when you don't know if you'll be alive tomorrow." "You'll be alive," Morrison said. His voice was firm. "We'll make sure of it." "You can't promise that, Commander." "Watch me." Madison looked at him. Something shifted in her eyes. Softness. Gratitude. Hope. "Thank you," she said, "for believing me, for helping, for treating me like a person instead of a ghost." "You are a person. You're also the best damn sniper I've ever seen. And you deserve better than what you got." Madison's eyes glistened. She blinked rapidly, turned away. "I should go. I have work to do." "Wait." Morrison reached into his pocket, pulled out something small, handed it to her. A challenge coin. Navy SEAL trident embossed on one side, his personal motto on the other, truth over comfort. "Take this," he said, "when you're testifying, when you're facing down Vance and his lawyers and everyone who wants you dead. Look at that coin. Remember you're not alone. Remember you have people who believe you, who will fight for you." Madison took the coin, held it like it was made of glass. Her voice broke. "I don't know what to say." "Don't say anything. Just survive. Just win. That's enough." She nodded. Put the coin in her pocket. Started to walk away. "Madison," Kelly called. She turned. "Your team would be proud of you. What you're doing. The stand you're making. They'd be proud." Madison's face crumpled. Just for a second. Then she pulled it together, nodded once, disappeared into the darkness. Morrison and Kelly stood in silence, listening to waves crash below the lighthouse, both thinking the same thing: they might never see her again. "You think she'll make it?" Kelly asked. "I think she's tougher than anyone gives her credit for, including herself." Morrison walked back to the Civic. "Come on. We need to get back before anyone notices we're gone." They drove separately, different routes. Morrison reached his apartment at 0030. No sign of surveillance. Either they'd missed his absence, or they were being more subtle now. He collapsed on his couch. Didn't bother going to bed. Sleep wouldn't come anyway. At 0200, his phone exploded with notifications. Text from Kelly. "She did it. Files are everywhere. Twitter's going insane." Morrison opened his laptop, refreshed his newsfeed. The top 50 stories were all the same. Leaked documents reveal CIA Black Ops team betrayed by Senator. Photos, videos, audio recordings. Everything Madison had collected over 3 years of running. All of it public now. All of it undeniable. Social media was on fire. Hashtags trending worldwide. Operation. Nightfall. Vance. Traitor. Justice. For the fallen news anchors were scrambling to verify the information. But there was too much. Too many sources. Too many corroborating documents. Within an hour, major networks were running with the story. By 0300, Senator Patricia Hayes was on CNN. Her face was grave. Her voice was steel. I've reviewed the leaked documents. If they're authentic and preliminary analysis suggests they are, this represents one of the gravest betrayals in American history. I will be calling for an emergency Senate Ethics Committee hearing. Senator Vance will be subpoenaed. He will testify under oath, and the American people will have the truth they deserve. Morrison's phone rang. Holland. You see this? Holland's voice was rough. Yeah. She did it. She actually did it. Holland paused. Rick, I'm getting calls from Pentagon, from JSOC, from people I haven't talked to in years. Everyone wants to know if we know where she is. We don't. Good. Keep it that way. Because half the people looking for her want to protect her. The other half want her dead. And I don't know which half is bigger. What do? We wait. We watch. And if she surfaces, we make damn sure she stays alive long enough to testify. Holland's voice hardened. Rick, this is bigger than us now. This is about the integrity of every operation we've ever run. Every mission we've ever trusted. If senators can sell out operators for money, nothing means anything anymore. I know, sir. So we protect her, whatever it takes. Yes, sir. Holland hung up. Morrison sat in the darkness, watching the news cycle explode, watching the story spread like wildfire, watching as the narrative Vance's lawyers had tried to create crumbled under the weight of evidence. His phone buzzed. Text from unknown number. I'm at the cabin. Safe for now. Thank you for everything. If I don't make it to the hearing, make sure they use the evidence. Make sure my team gets justice. That's all I've ever wanted. M. Morrison texted back. You'll make it. And you'll testify. And you'll watch Vance go down. Count on it. No response. But that was okay. She was safe. For now. And in 48 hours, she'd be in Washington, sitting in front of the Senate Ethics Committee, telling her story, exposing the truth. If she lived that long. Morrison stood up, made coffee. He wasn't sleeping tonight. Wasn't sleeping until Madison testified. Until Vance was in handcuffs. Until justice was done. Kelly showed up at his door at 0600. Looked like he hadn't slept either. News is saying Vance's lawyers are fighting the subpoena, Kelly said, claiming the leaked documents are fabricated, claiming Madison's a disgruntled former operative with an axe to grind. They're scared. They should be. Hayes isn't backing down. She's got bipartisan support now. Even Republicans are calling for the hearing. Nobody wants to be seen protecting a traitor. Morrison's phone rang. Unknown number. Morrison. Commander Morrison. A woman's voice. Professional, cold. This is Agent Sarah Chen, CIA. I need to speak with you about Madison Parker. Morrison's blood ran cold. Sarah Chen, the handler who'd taken the USB drive from Miller. I don't know anyone by that name. Don't play games, Commander. We know she contacted you. We know you helped her. We know you're hiding her. Chen's voice was ice. Tell me where she is. Right now. Or I'll have you arrested for obstruction of justice. You can't arrest me for not knowing something. I can arrest you for aiding a fugitive, for conspiracy, for mishandling classified information. I can destroy your career and throw you in prison for 20 years. Is that what you want?" Morrison's hand tightened on the phone. "What I want is for you to do your job, which is protecting American operatives, not hunting them down because they exposed corruption. Madison Parker is not a victim. She's a murderer. She killed Deputy Director Keller in cold blood. She coerced Senator Vance into making false statements. She leaked classified information that endangers national security. Those are lies, and you know it." "Are they?" Chen's voice was cold. "Or are you just a fool who got played by a mentally unstable operator who should have died with her team?" Morrison's rage was a physical thing now, burning in his chest. "Listen to me very carefully. Madison Parker is a hero. She survived an ambush that killed her team, an ambush that was arranged by the very people who were supposed to protect her, and now she's fighting back. And nothing you say, nothing you do will change that. Where is she, Commander? Go to hell." He hung up. Kelly's face was pale. "That was Chen. Yeah, they know we're involved. They'll be coming after us now." "Let them come." Morrison's voice was hard. "We've got 48 hours until the hearing. All we have to do is keep Madison alive until then. After she testifies, it won't matter what Chen or Vance or anyone else does. The truth will be out, officially, on record. Nothing can bury it then." Kelly nodded. "So we protect her. For 48 hours. For 48 hours. Morrison grabbed his keys. "Let's go. We're driving to that cabin. We're staying there until it's time to take her to Washington. And if anyone tries to stop us, they'll have to go through us first." Kelly smiled grimly. "Just like old times." "Yeah, just like old times." They loaded up Morrison's truck. Weapons, ammunition, supplies, everything they needed for a siege. Because that's what this was. A siege. A last stand. A final battle between truth and lies. Between justice and corruption. Between a woman who refused to quit and a system that wanted her dead. Morrison started the engine. "Let's go get our ghost," he said. And they drove north into the mountains, racing against time and enemies they couldn't see fighting for a woman who'd already given everything and was about to risk what little she had left. 48 hours until the hearing. 48 hours until Madison Parker stepped into the light and exposed the darkness. 48 hours until the truth finally won. If they could keep her alive that long. The cabin was exactly where Morrison said it would be. 2 hours north. Deep in the mountains. Surrounded by pine trees that blocked it from satellite view. No neighbors for miles. Perfect. Madison was sitting on the porch when they arrived. She had a rifle across her lap. Not pointing at them. Just ready. Morrison killed the engine. Held up both hands as he stepped out. "It's us!" Madison lowered the rifle. "You shouldn't have come. It's too dangerous." "That's why we came," Kelly said. He pulled bags from the truck bed. Food, water, medical supplies. "We're not letting you do this alone." "I work alone. I've always worked alone." "Not anymore." Morrison walked up the porch steps, looked her in the eye. "You've got 48 hours until the hearing. Vance's people will be coming. They'll find this place eventually. When they do, you'll need backup." Madison's jaw tightened. "If you stay, you might die." "We've been dying since the day we enlisted. Might as well die for something that matters." She stared at him for a long moment, then nodded. "Okay. But we do this my way, my rules, my plan." "Your show," Morrison said. "We're just the supporting cast." They moved inside. The cabin was small. One main room, a loft bedroom, fireplace, basic furniture. No electricity except a generator. No running water except a well pump outside, off the grid, just like Morrison promised. Madison had already set up a defensive perimeter, tripwires on the access road, motion sensors on the tree line, camera feeds displaying on a laptop powered by the generator. Kelly whistled. "You've been busy." "I've been preparing for this since I went underground 3 years ago. I knew it would come down to a last stand eventually. I just didn't know where or when." She pulled up a map on the laptop. "One road in, one road out. Anyone coming here has to use it. We'll see them coming from a mile away." Morrison studied the map. "What if they come through the woods? Then they'll hit my secondary perimeter. More tripwires, claymores hidden in the underbrush. Anyone trying to sneak up will regret it." Kelly's eyebrows shot up. "Where did you get claymores?" Madison smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. "CIA taught me a lot of things, including how to acquire weapons the government doesn't want me to have." Morrison felt a chill. This woman wasn't just a sniper. She was a one-person army who'd been planning this endgame for years. "How many people do you think they'll send?" Morrison asked. "Depends on how desperate they are. If Vance still thinks he can control the narrative, maybe a small team. 4 or 5 contractors. Professionals. Quick and quiet." Madison paused. "But if he's panicking, if he thinks this hearing will destroy him, he'll send everyone. 10, 15, maybe more. They'll burn this place to the ground with me inside if they have to." "Then we better be ready for 15. They spent the next 4 hours fortifying the cabin, reinforcing windows, setting up firing positions, distributing ammunition, creating fallback points if the cabin was breached. Morrison worked alongside Madison, watched how she moved, efficient, practiced, every action purposeful. This wasn't her first time preparing for a siege. "Where'd you learn all this?" he asked. "Afghanistan, Syria, Yemen, places that don't officially exist on any mission log." Madison hammered boards across a window. "When you're deep cover, you learn to think 3 steps ahead. Always have an escape route. Always have a backup plan. Always assume someone's trying to kill you, because someone usually is." "How many ops did you run?" 47 confirmed missions, more that are still classified." She paused. "The longest shot I ever made was 347 meters. Target was a warlord meeting with Russian arms dealers. 1 shot. 1 kill. 3 people saw it happen and they still didn't believe it was real. Wind was gusting 15 knots. Temperature was 43 degrees. I had to calculate for the Coriolis effect. Took me 4 hours to set up, 4 seconds to execute." Kelly stopped what he was doing. 347 meters. That's over 2 miles. "Yeah. That's impossible." "Lots of things are impossible until someone does them." Madison finished with the window, moved to the next one. "That shot made my reputation. After that, they called me the Angel of Death. Enemies prayed I wasn't hunting them. Allies requested me by name. I became a legend in a world where nobody's supposed to know your name." Morrison watched her work, saw the pride in her movements, the confidence, but also the weight, the burden of being the best at something that required killing people. "Do you regret it?" he asked quietly. "The missions, the kills." Madison stopped, set down her hammer, looked at him with those dark eyes. "Every single one," she said. "I remember their faces. All 47. I see them when I sleep, when I close my eyes, when I'm alone." Her voice was soft. "But I don't regret doing my job. I regret that the job was necessary. I regret that men like Vance sent me to kill people for reasons that had nothing to do with protecting America. I regret that my team died because someone sold us. That's what I regret." Kelly joined them. "Your team. Tell us about them." Madison was quiet for a long moment. When she spoke, her voice was barely above a whisper. "Michael Chen, explosives expert. Loved his wife and 2 daughters more than anything. Used to show me pictures every night before bed. He died first. Took a round to the chest during the ambush. Bled out in 30 seconds. She took a breath. Sarah Martinez, communications specialist. Funniest person I ever met. Could make you laugh in the middle of a firefight. She died trying to call for exfil. Grenade landed 3 feet from her. She knew it was coming. She looked right at me before it went off. She smiled, like she was apologizing for not being fast enough. Another breath. Harder this time. James Hawk Davidson, team leader, 20 years in special activities. He'd survived more missions than anyone in CIA history. He died last. Held off the enemy while I escaped. Told me to run. Told me to tell the truth. Told me to make sure his death meant something. I heard him screaming over comms for 2 minutes before they killed him. Morrison's throat was tight. And the others, David Kim, Marcus Thompson, both died in the initial ambush. Never had a chance. They were stacked up at the door when the shooting started. Cut down before they could return fire. Madison's hands were shaking now. 5 people. 5 of the best operators in American intelligence. Dead because someone wanted $50 million. She looked at Morrison, tears streaming down her face, but her voice was steady. That's why I can't stop. That's why I leaked the files. That's why I'm going to testify, even if it kills me. Because they deserve justice. They deserve people knowing the truth. They deserve better than dying in a classified grave that nobody knows exists. Morrison reached out, gripped her shoulder. They'll get justice. I promise you that. You can't promise that, Commander. Watch me. They finished fortifying the cabin as the sun set. Morrison checked the perimeter one more time. Everything was ready. Everything was in place. Now they waited. Night fell. They took shifts. 2 awake. 1 sleeping. Morrison took first watch with Madison. Kelly crashed in the loft. Morrison sat by the window, rifle across his lap, watching the camera feeds. Nothing moved except wind in the trees. Madison sat across from him, cleaning her rifle. The same careful movements she'd used on the Barrett that first day. Precision. Respect. Love for the weapon that had kept her alive. Can I ask you something? Morrison said. Yeah. Why'd you come to Coronado? Why work as a maintenance contractor when you could have disappeared completely? Madison didn't look up from her rifle. Because I missed it. The weapons, the operators, the smell of gun oil and the sound of range fire. I missed feeling like I was part of something bigger than myself. She paused. And because I was tired of running. I wanted to be near people who understood, even if they didn't know who I really was. Did it help? For a while, until you caught me with that Barrett. She smiled. You terrified me that morning. Not because you were angry, but because I thought I'd finally found a place where I could breathe. And then you were going to take it away. I'm sorry. Don't be. You were protecting your men. That's what good leaders do. She looked up, met his eyes. You're a good leader, Commander. Your men respect you. They'd follow you anywhere. That's rare. So are operators who care about anything except the mission. Is that what you think I am? Someone who cares? Yeah, I think that's exactly what you are. You care so much it's killing you. You care about your team, about justice, about truth, about doing the right thing even when it destroys you. Morrison leaned forward. Most people would have taken the out, would have accepted the fake death and disappeared forever. But you couldn't do that, because you care too much to let the bastards win. Madison's eyes glistened. Caring too much is what got my team killed. No, Vance got your team killed. You're just the one who survived to tell the story. They sat in silence for a while. Then Madison said, "What will you do? After the hearing? After all this is over?" Morrison thought about it. I don't know. Keep doing my job, I guess. Train SEALs, run missions, try to make sure what happened to you doesn't happen to anyone else. And if it does, then I'll fight it, same as you. Madison smiled. You're a good man, Commander Morrison. Your country's lucky to have you. So was your country, until it betrayed you. At 0300, the motion sensors went off. Morrison was instantly alert. Kelly scrambled down from the loft. Madison moved to the laptop. 2 vehicles, she said. Her voice was calm, professional. Approaching on the access road, moving slow, no headlights. How many people? Kelly asked. Can't tell yet. Wait. She zoomed in on the camera feed. I count 6, all armed, professional gear. This isn't local police. This is a contractor team. Morrison checked his rifle. Full magazine. Round, chambered. 6 against 3. Could be worse. Could be better, Kelly muttered. Madison stood, moved to a firing position by the window. They'll try to negotiate first. Try to get me to surrender. When that doesn't work, they'll breach. How do you know? Because that's what I'd do. The vehicle stopped 100 yards from the cabin. Doors opened. 6 figures emerged, all wearing tactical gear, all carrying rifles. One of them pulled out a bullhorn. Madison Parker, this is Agent Chen, CIA. You're surrounded. Come out with your hands up. Nobody has to get hurt. Madison's laugh was bitter. Liar. Morrison looked at her. You know her? Yeah, Sarah Chen. She was my handler during Operation Nightfall. She's the one who told us to abort when we were under fire. She's the one who refused exfil. Madison's voice was ice. She's the one who helped Vance cover it up. Kelly swore. She's not here to arrest you. She's here to kill you. I know. Chen's voice echoed through the trees. Madison, you have 30 seconds to surrender. If you don't come out, we're coming in, and we won't be gentle. Madison called back through the window. Chen, you're a traitor. You helped Vance sell out my team. You left us to die. Silence. Then Chen's voice again. Colder now. You don't know what you're talking about. You're mentally unstable. You need help. I need justice, and I'm going to get it. In 48 hours, I'm testifying before Congress, and I'm going to tell them everything, including your name. More silence. Then gunfire erupted. Rounds slammed into the cabin, shattering windows, punching through walls. Morrison dove to the floor. Kelly returned fire. Madison stayed calm, took aim, fired once. One of the contractors dropped. 5 left, she called out. The shooting stopped. Chen was shouting orders. The contractors were spreading out, flanking positions. They're trying to surround us, Morrison said. Let them try. Madison moved to another window. Kelly, cover the back door. Commander, stay on the front. I'll take the sides. Nobody gets in. More gunfire. This time from 2 directions, front and right side. The contractors were coordinating. Professional. Madison fired twice more. 4 left, Kelly shouted from the back. I've got movement. 2 contacts. Take them. Kelly's rifle cracked. Once, twice, 1 down, 1 retreating. Morrison saw movement through his scope. A contractor trying to reach the porch. He fired. The contractor stumbled. Fell. Didn't get up. 2 left, Morrison called. Chen's voice again. Desperate now. Fall back, fall back. The remaining contractors retreated to the vehicles, started the engines, tried to leave. Madison was already moving. She climbed to the loft, opened the window, set up her rifle. Morrison watched her work, watched her settle into the weapon. That same calm breathing, that same perfect stillness. She fired once. The first vehicle's tire exploded. The SUV swerved, crashed into a tree. She fired again. The second vehicle's windshield shattered. The driver slumped. The vehicle rolled to a stop. Silence. Madison lowered her rifle. "It's done." Morrison moved to the door, checked outside. 4 bodies. 2 vehicles disabled. No movement. "Chen," he called. A voice from one of the vehicles. Weak. Pained. "I'm hit. I'm bleeding out. Please, help me." Madison joined Morrison at the door. Her face was hard. "She's lying. Chen doesn't beg. She's trying to draw us out." "How do you know?" "Because I've worked with her for 5 years. I know how she operates." Madison raised her voice. "Chen, show yourself, hands up, or I put a round through that vehicle and end this." Nothing. Then Chen emerged, hands raised, blood on her jacket. She was hit. For real this time. "Madison, please, I didn't want this. I was following orders, just like you." Madison stepped onto the porch, rifle aimed at Chen's chest. "You left us to die. You refused exfil. You helped them cover it up." "I didn't have a choice." Vance had leverage. He had evidence of things I'd done, things that would destroy me. "So you let my team die to save yourself." "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I never meant for—" "Save it." Madison's voice was cold. "You're going to live. You're going to survive. And you're going to testify. You're going to tell Congress everything. Every order Vance gave you. Every cover-up you helped with. Every operator you betrayed. You're going to burn with him." Chen's face went white. "If I do that, they'll kill me." "Good. Now you know how it feels." Morrison called 911, reported shots fired, officers wounded, gave the location. Then he zip-tied Chen's hands and sat her against a tree. Chen looked up at Madison, blood soaking through her jacket. "You won't win. Vance has too many connections, too many people protecting him. Even if I testify, even if you testify, he'll walk. We'll see about that." Sirens wailed in the distance, coming closer. Madison looked at Morrison. "When the police arrive, I'm turning myself in. I'm done hiding. I'm done running. It's time to face this head-on. They'll arrest you for Keller's murder." "I know, but Senator Hayes will get me out. She needs my testimony. She'll make sure I stay alive long enough to give it." Kelly joined them on the porch. "You sure about this?" "I'm sure." Madison pulled out Morrison's challenge coin, looked at it. "Truth over comfort. That's what this says. Well, I'm choosing truth, whatever the cost." The police arrived, 20 minutes later. Local sheriff's department. They secured the scene, arrested Chen, called for ambulances. Madison surrendered her weapon, put her hands behind her head, let them cuff her. "Madison Parker?" the lead deputy asked. "That's one of my names. My real name is classified, but yes, I'm the person you're looking for. You're under arrest for the murder of Thomas Keller. You have the right to remain silent." "I understand my rights. I'm invoking them. I want a lawyer, and I want to speak with Senator Patricia Hayes immediately." The deputy looked confused. "Ma'am, that's not how this works." Morrison stepped forward, showed his military ID. "Deputy, this woman is a material witness in a federal investigation. She's testifying before Congress in 48 hours. Senator Hayes needs to be notified immediately. National security matter." The deputy looked even more confused, but he made the call. 20 minutes later, Hayes herself was on the line. Her voice was steel. "Put Madison Parker on the phone, now." The deputy handed over his cell phone. Madison took it. "Senator Hayes." "Ms. Parker, I've been trying to reach you for 3 days. We need your testimony. Vance's lawyers are fighting the subpoena. Without you, the hearing falls apart." "I'll testify, but I need immunity, full immunity, for everything I've done since Afghanistan, including Keller." Hayes was quiet for a moment. "Keller's death is complicated. Self-defense, He was part of the conspiracy. He ordered the hit on my team. He's been hunting me for 3 years. When I confronted him, he drew a weapon. I shot first. That's self-defense. I can work with that. Hayes paused. But you need to understand something. If you testify, your life changes forever. You'll never be anonymous again. You'll never be safe again. Is that what you want? Madison looked at Morrison, at Kelly, at the bodies lying in the dirt, at the cabin that had been her last hiding place. Safety is an illusion, Senator. I figured that out 3 years ago. What I want is justice. For my team. For every operator who trusted their government and got betrayed. That's worth any price. Then I'll see you in Washington. 48 hours. Federal Courthouse. 9 a.m. Don't be late. I won't. Madison handed the phone back. The deputy uncuffed her, looked confused, but didn't argue. You're free to go, he said. Just like that. Just like that, Madison confirmed. Senator's orders. Morrison drove her to the airport. Kelly followed in his truck. They didn't talk much. There wasn't much to say. At the departures terminal, Madison turned to face them both. Thank you, she said, for everything. For believing me, for protecting me, for giving me a chance to fight back. Morrison handed her an envelope. Money. New ID. Burner phone with our numbers. Use it if you need help. I won't need help, not anymore. Take it anyway. She took it. Commander, Master Chief. When this is over, when I testify and Vance goes to prison, and all of this is finally done, can I ask you something? Anything, Kelly said. Will you come to Arlington with me? Will you help me honor my team? They're buried there, under false names, in graves nobody visits. I want to change that. I want people to know who they really were. Morrison's throat was tight. We'll be there, I promise. Madison nodded, turned to leave, then stopped, looked back. You know what the worst part is about losing your team, about watching them die? What? Morrison asked. It's not the grief. It's not the guilt. It's not even the nightmares. Her voice broke. It's knowing that they trusted me to bring them home. And I failed. I survived. And they didn't. And I have to live with that every single day for the rest of my life. That wasn't your fault, Kelly said. Vance killed them. Not you. I know that in my head. But my heart doesn't believe it yet. She smiled sadly. Maybe after I testify. Maybe after justice is done. Maybe then I'll finally believe it. She walked into the terminal, disappeared into the crowd. Morrison and Kelly stood watching until they couldn't see her anymore. Think she'll make it? Kelly asked. She's the toughest person I've ever met. If anyone can survive this, it's her. And after what happens after? Morrison thought about that. After she gets to live, really live, not just Sarishki, not just run. She gets to be human again. She gets to heal. She deserves that. Yeah, she does. 48 hours later, Madison Parker walked into a federal courthouse in Washington, D.C. She wore a simple black suit. Her hair was back to its natural color, dark brown, almost black. She carried nothing except Morrison's challenge coin in her pocket. The hearing room was packed. Senators, press, public gallery filled to capacity, cameras everywhere. This was the biggest political scandal in decades. Everyone wanted to watch it unfold. Senator Patricia Hayes called the hearing to order. We're here today to investigate allegations of corruption, treason, and conspiracy involving Senator Richard Vance and members of the intelligence community. Our first witness is the woman at the center of these allegations, a former CIA Special Activities Division operator who survived Operation Nightfall. Please state your name for the record. Madison stepped to the microphone. Her voice was clear, strong. unafraid. My real name is classified, but you can call me what my team called me, Angel. Hayes nodded. Thank you for being here, Angel. I know this isn't easy. Nothing worth doing is easy, Senator. Then let's begin. Tell us what happened in Afghanistan. Tell us about Operation Nightfall. Tell us how your team died. And Madison told them everything. Every mission. Every betrayal. Every moment of that terrible night when 5 operators were gunned down because someone sold their location for money. She spoke for 3 hours. Never wavering. Never breaking. Just telling the truth, in a voice that cut through every lie Vance's lawyers had tried to construct. When she finished, the hearing room was silent. Senators were crying. Reporters were crying. Even the bailiffs looked shaken. Hayes spoke quietly. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your sacrifice. And thank you for your courage in coming forward. Thank you for listening, Senator. That's all I ever wanted. Someone to listen. Someone to care. Someone to believe that my team's lives mattered. Vance's lawyer stood up, tried to cross-examine, tried to discredit her, tried to make her look unstable. Madison destroyed him in 10 minutes, answered every question with facts, with evidence, with the kind of calm precision that came from years of surviving impossible situations. By the time she stepped down, Vance was finished. His career was over. His freedom was over. His life as he knew it was over. Justice wasn't complete. Justice never is. But it was closer than it had been in 3 years. Morrison and Kelly watched from the gallery. When Madison walked past them, she paused, pulled the challenge coin from her pocket, looked at it. Truth over comfort, she said quietly. I finally understand what that means. What does it mean? Morrison asked. It means some things are worth dying for, and some things are worth living for, and knowing the difference is what makes us human. She handed him back the coin. Keep it. Give it to someone else who needs to remember that truth matters, that honor matters, that doing the right thing even when it destroys you is what separates soldiers from monsters. Morrison took the coin, but he also took her hand. You're not giving this back. You earned it. You keep it. And every time you look at it, remember that you won. You beat them. You survived. And your team would be so damn proud of you. Madison's eyes filled with tears. But she was smiling. Really smiling. For the first time in 3 years. Thank you, Commander, for everything. Thank you, Angel, for showing us what real courage looks like. She walked out of the courthouse into bright sunshine. Free. Finally free. Morrison turned to Kelly. It's over. No, Kelly said. It's just beginning. For her. For all of us. Because what she did exposing that corruption fighting that network that's going to inspire others. Other operators who've been silenced. Other whistleblowers who've been scared. She showed them it's possible to fight back and win. Morrison smiled. Yeah, she did. 3 months later, Morrison stood at Arlington National Cemetery. Kelly beside him. Madison between them. 5 graves. 5 headstones. 5 names that had been classified until Madison's testimony forced the government to acknowledge them. Michael Chen, Sarah Martinez, James Davidson, David Kim, Marcus Thompson, the fallen of Operation Nightfall, finally honored, finally remembered, finally given the recognition they deserved. Madison knelt before each grave, placed a hand on each stone, whispered words Morrison couldn't hear. When she finished, she stood, looked at the graves. tears streaming down her face. "They're home," she said quietly. "Finally home." "So are you," Morrison said. Madison looked at him. "Am I? Yeah, you are. You fought your war. You won your battle. Now you get to rest." "I don't know how to rest. I only know how to fight." "Then learn. Because the world needs people who know how to do both, who know when to fight and when to lay down their weapons, who know that sometimes the greatest courage isn't pulling the trigger, it's choosing not to." Madison was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, "Will you help me learn how to rest, learn how to live?" Morrison smiled. "That's what family does. And your family now, whether you like it or not." Kelly nodded. "He's right. You're stuck with us." Madison laughed. It was the first time Morrison had heard her really laugh. Not the bitter laugh of someone who'd lost everything, but the genuine laugh of someone who'd finally found something worth keeping. They left Arlington together. 3 soldiers who'd fought different wars, but learned the same lesson that truth was worth any price, that justice was worth any sacrifice, that some battles were worth fighting even when victory seemed impossible, and that sometimes, just sometimes, ghosts could come back to life. Madison Parker had been declared dead. Then she'd become a ghost, then a fugitive, then a legend. And finally, after 3 years of running and hiding and fighting, she'd become something she never thought she'd be again herself. The woman who'd cleaned a Barrett 50 cal in a Navy SEAL armory had walked out of the shadows and into the light. She'd faced down senators and spies and assassins. She'd exposed corruption at the highest levels of government. She'd honored her fallen team. She'd told the truth when everyone else wanted lies. And she'd won. Not because she was the best sniper in CIA history. Not because she could make impossible shots or survive impossible situations, but because she refused to quit. Because she believed that truth mattered more than survival. Because she knew that some things were worth dying for, and some things were worth living for. Commander Rick Morrison had learned something that day in the armory when he'd yelled at a woman he thought was just a cleaning lady. Never judge people by their coveralls. Never assume weakness means helplessness. Never underestimate someone who's survived hell and chosen to keep fighting anyway. Because the deadliest warriors aren't the ones who never stop killing, they're the ones who know when to stop. Who choose justice over revenge. Who pick truth over comfort. Who understand that real strength isn't about how many enemies you can destroy, but how many people you can save. Madison Parker had saved her team's memory. She'd saved the honor of every operator who'd trusted their government. She'd saved the integrity of a system that had tried to corrupt itself into irrelevance, and in doing so, she'd saved herself. 3 years of darkness had finally given way to light. 3 years of running had finally ended in standing still. 3 years of being dead had finally transformed into being alive. The angel of death had become something better, the angel of truth. And that truth would outlive every lie, every betrayal, every attempt to bury it. Because truth, Madison had learned, was the only thing that never really died. It just waited in the shadows for someone brave enough to drag it into the light. And she had been that brave. She had been that strong. She had been exactly what the world needed, even when the world didn't know it needed her. The cleaning lady who held the world's deadliest secret had become the warrior who freed the world's most important truth, and that made all the difference.